It felt like us again, the energy that we share when we're fully together. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I want to talk today about how you can't get any closer with you and your mirror soul because you guys are one. So it's literally impossible to get any closer. And it's probably also impossible for you to let them go. So you may as well just lean into this, go deeper into your trust, go deeper into loving yourself, deeper into loving them, and really believing in the two of you guys. Because otherwise, it honestly, anytime you try to move on or let go, it's probably just going to hurt. So you may as well just accept it. And this is actually a bit of a key because you not trusting in yourself, you not trusting in them, and not trusting in the relationship is kind of not committing to yourself or believing in yourself or trusting in yourself or your abilities, and also not trusting in the process. You have to remember that it's up to us to declare and claim what it is that we want to experience in our life. And trusting that the end already exists and really going deeper into that and living from embodying that is a key. And by the way, when you are living from embodying that, there are feelings and emotions that do come along with it. So you will be feeling differently. You guys are always stuck on, I don't believe it. I don't feel it. I shouldn't have to believe it. I shouldn't have to feel it. And I understand what you're saying, but hear me out for a second. If you maintain trust in yourself and really step into your power and embody that version of you, understanding that infinite timelines and infinite storylines are constantly, like it's a constant thing. So if you maintain yourself in embodying that and claiming it and declaring it over and over again, and I don't mean, by the way, doing all of your inner work all day, all night, only doing inner work around your person, because then people end up draining themselves, then they end up feeling sick, their health suffers, a lot of times their finance suffers. That's not what I mean. I think I've made so many videos on the healthy way to manifest. So this is not going to be the video for that. But if you're just new to the channel, feel free to go to the playlist, the specific person playlist, and binge some of the videos because you will learn a ton just by watching the videos. Okay. But anyway, I see it all the time that when people just make a decision and stick to it, and then they finally get to this point that they declare it and they claim it. Even in this past week, this is the third client now that declared it. When you truly declare it, you're making a decision. This is, I believe in myself. I believe in them. I believe in us, and I trust this. If you're having a struggle with trusting yourself, trusting in them, believing in yourself, believing in them, not loving yourself, not loving them, those are the areas that you need to focus on. Okay. Anyway, before I read this email from my client who just got amazing movement after months of, well, I'll get into the story. Before I get into it, if you love me, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want me to be your coach to help you manifest your SP back or to change the dynamic or anything else, because it's all just learning how to claim and declare yourself and make a decision that you trust that your end exists. So you're just going to embody that. I can help you. Email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to my website, coreunion.com, book whatever you want to book, and then my scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you with my next available. So now I'm going to read this. And the big thing that last week when we met, our last session, she's been doing such an amazing job. She has been persisting and she's been releasing and letting go and really getting deeper and deeper in her trust in herself and in her person. But the one little tweak was she was telling me that something along the lines of, and I don't remember verbatim, but something along the lines of when she was going to sleep, she was going to sleep in the wish fulfilled, but it was more like something along the lines of, I am so and so's wife, or I am so and so's, yeah, I'm so and so's happy wife, or something along those lines. And I said, okay, if you guys were married going to sleep together, you would be thinking and feeling, I love our life together. You would be thinking, feeling, I love how we feel together. Things like that. You wouldn't be thinking from that perspective. That's thinking of. And so we just talked about thinking from, like actually embodying being together. living together, being married together. So we made that tweak and it was incredible. So this is what she wrote. Hey, Kim, I wanted to update you on what's happening since last week after our session. I started fully embodying the end. SP and I living together in our shared home, married, falling asleep together, and waking up side by side in the mornings. It took about a day to really settle into that state because I initially struggled visualizing a new space instead of his or my space where we currently are. But once I got there, it was amazing. I spent the entire weekend in that state, reminding myself that everything was already working out because it was done. I even looked in the mirror and declared it, it is done. Mondays are the days I got into the office to set up my week with the other agents. As I was driving there, I felt so good, completely in the knowing that I am his wife and that we have our life together. There had been no contact since February 19th. Then, this past Monday morning, within moments of me feeling that certainty, he texted me. He sent me an item listed on Marketplace, but instead of messaging me on Facebook, he texted it directly to me and he said, "This is the best deal I've seen on this." I replied, "Yes, it is a great deal," and asked if he could message the seller since the item was located near him. I also asked if he had a second to talk as I was driving and I didn't want to text, and he said, "Sure." I had just pulled into the office, so I parked and FaceTimed him. We hadn't talked on the phone or over video chat since 4 months, November 1st. That was when our third separation had happened. It's not real separation. It was just the third time that you had to go within and release and let go some stuff. That's all. So the moment he answered, he lit up and said, "Look at you. Hey there, sunshine. Wow, you look amazing." He immediately noticed my hair and the highlights that I had added back into it. He was complimenting me over and over. His eyes were glowing with the same look he's always given me, completely mesmerized, unable to stop staring at me. The energy between us was different. It was alive and vibrant. It felt like us again, the energy that we share when we're fully together. I told him, "Wow, you look really great too, like really good." We caught up for a bit, but we kept getting distracted and flirting, making cute remarks about how we just couldn't stop looking at each other. I told him I really had to get into the office, but that I had so much to tell him and that I just loved talking to him. He said he loved talking to me too. It all felt so natural and amazing. Then he said, "I have to let you go because I can't stop looking at you. I need to get my body back in control with all of these feelings that are coming up." We both laughed and I told him, it's like that with us. We're all about each other. We see each other and we just can't catch our breath. He agreed, saying it will always be that way, and I agreed too. Then he said, "Come up tonight. Come see me. I have time in my schedule and I can't take it anymore. Get that butt up here." I told him to let me know, and he said he'd be done with a meeting at 2:30. I told him okay, and we hung up. I was completely fine all day, even excited. I kept telling myself not to worry about the 3D, just be in flow. At 2:45, he texted me asking if I was on the way. I responded around 3, saying I was waiting on the go-ahead, and if it wasn't too late, I'd head up. He replied, "Yes, get on up here. I have an appointment at 6, but I can totally cancel it." I also planned to check out the marketplace item after 6 if my parents decided that they wanted it. When I pulled into his driveway, it felt amazing to be there again, so natural and so normal. When I walked inside, he was finishing up on a business meeting, so I waited in the kitchen. When he came out, we immediately slipped into us, saying our little things, actually silly, being playful. We have this shy, high, tippy toe thing that we do together. The moment felt exactly like always. He walked right up to me and we just held each other, talking, taking each other in, complimenting how good we smelled, how good we looked, how much we missed each other. Okay, so of course we talked about all kinds of things, and of course things happened. We're literally unable to keep our hands off of each other. It felt effortless, like always, like we've been together for lifetimes, because you have. Afterwards, we just laid there for an hour talking. He was so happy. He said he could see how happy I was, how in flow I was, and he was so excited for me. Right before we got together, he had paused, looked at me, and said, "Your light lights me up." The way he said it, so sincere, so honest, it hit me so deeply. There he was again, his soul looking directly into mine, telling me his truth about me. I told him, "That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard." He said, "Well, it does. I love your light." And I just melted. This isn't the first time he's spoken about my light. Of course not, because that's like the whole thing. So then she wrote, Kim, there are no words to describe the knowing of this connection to anyone who has never felt it. You get it, I know. It's like the language of energy, two souls speaking to each other, trying to climb out of the human body for those brief moments. I want to come back to that for a second. Okay, I'm going to read this again. It's like the language of energy, two souls speaking to each other, trying to climb out of the human body. For those brief moments, our souls push through the mind and body and recognize each other, saying, it's us. Don't let go. Trust this. I understand that feeling. Your souls are one soul, and the illusion of the physical separation, and I'm not talking about separation when there's like preparation time, but the illusion of the physical bodies of you guys being physically apart, it's just not even true. You guys think of you guys as one soul, one consciousness, living through this experience in two separate bodies. Okay. So right before I left, he started talking about feeling stuck in his life, saying he was tired of feeling this way. He described it as standing in the middle of a rushing river, everything flowing around him while he just stood there, unable to move with it. Instead of feeling frustrated or thinking, oh no, not again, I just knew this is not the version I see him as anymore. I trust in the true version of him, the one in flow in his heart, running toward my light, not feeling trapped. He admitted that he hasn't been leading with his heart, not in a long time. He said he keeps coming back to the same place and he just wants to be free from it. Okay, so you want to be free from this story, basically. And I know you know that, but I'm just saying that for other people who are watching. He was being vulnerable, which is huge for him. But then, as quickly as it came, he snapped out of it, saying he had to get back to work. I could see him shutting down, shifting back into control mode. Just continue to lean into that. The two of you guys feel liberated with each other. I understood. We hugged, kissed goodbye, then went back for another hug and kiss. I left the way I used to when I'd head back to my place. No talk of seeing you later or soon. I was fine at first, but after a day, I started processing everything. So now she started getting back into the 3D a little bit. I didn't react though. I didn't text first. He went silent and I felt it. Okay. So you could have texted him, but because you were in that energy, maybe it's a good idea that you didn't, but you could have had you pulled yourself out of that energy. Okay. Because if you guys were a couple and all of that, you would. So you don't have to feel the need of waiting for him to text first. You don't have to think of it that he's gone silent. It's just that there was somewhere that you got a little bit wobbly, and so you just have to get back in balance. Wednesday night, I got frustrated and reminded myself, it doesn't matter what's happening, what isn't happening in the 3D. My power is in me, in the knowing. I'm not the same version of me anymore, so double down and trust. And if you're not the same version of you anymore, then he's not the same version of him anymore because you and him are one. Then yesterday, Thursday, an old video of yours popped up, the one where you said that sometimes right before the shift, the old timeline deconstructs and the last remnants of the old story fall away. The 3D may even show the complete opposite of what you want. That's when most people give up, but you have to persist. So I persisted. Thursday afternoon, I was right back in my end state. I fell asleep in our home, in our comfy bed, and I woke up in the knowing. This morning, I sent him a short video that popped up on my feed about pouring out the old tea and filling the cup with new tea. It aligned perfectly with what we had shared Monday night. He watched it, but he didn't reply. But I was solid. Kim, this is a different place. Months ago, I would have sought reassurance, but this time my higher self said, it's not necessary. Stay still, it's done. Is this the dismantling of the old story? Yes. There's so much silence, but not just any silence, the kind you feel like something is cooking up. Yes, your union is cooking up. Get excited. Kim, I love you so much. Become your client. Oh, becoming your client has been one of the best parts of this journey. I love you so much. And I love you so much. Okay, so you see how for you guys that are going through this, like the big thing that happens, the dismantling of the old story, that sometimes it can look like the opposite things come up. And it can also come in kind of like silence. You persist through it. And in other words, like right when she sent the message and then he didn't reply, you go right into he replied and that you guys are in constant communication again as a couple. That's the key. That's what you do. Okay. Just like she was doing before, the physical experience in the 3D, the movement that started happening, you just go right back to that and you just trust in it again, declaring it, believing it, claiming it. The big thing that happens before our, whatever it is that we're manifesting actually comes physically in the 3D. It's like I did a video a few years ago about the cut flowers. When you have cut flowers, they're no longer alive. They're not attached to the root system anymore. Just like with your old story, you've cut the root, you've let go of the old story completely. It's gone, it's done. So you have these cut flowers. As soon as you put them in the vase, even though they're dead, they do bloom for a good week or so, but they're actually dead. So even though they appear to be alive, they wither away eventually. So sometimes when you are facing the opposite of when you are facing the opposite of what you actually want in your reality, so the opposite is happening or nothing is happening, it's the bloom. So it'll go away, it'll pass. Just stay. This is where you stay so incredibly deeply rooted and grounded, and know that the old story is going, it's withering away. Okay, so you just continue to declare it and claim it and continue to stay balanced and not to get stuck in the 3D again. So you just pick right up where you left off. Like, you guys are communicating because you're a happy couple together. You're loving each other deeply, immensely. Affirm down below, I declare and I claim our happy, loving life together now. And reach out to me if you need me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Nothing can come, nothing can come, nothing can come between us.